December 9, 2004, 9 certified divers made their way to the Sac Actun cave system. They split up into 2 teams and both had their own diving plan. One of the teams made a horrible mistake by taking the wrong turn at an intersection. They got themselves into big trouble. Please subscribe to our channel for more exciting cave diving stories. On Tuesday morning, December 9, 2004, 2 teams were on a diving adventure in the Sistema Sac Actun, also known as White Cave System. The cave system is located along the Caribbean coast of the Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico. It's an underwater cave system whose passages extend to both the northern and western parts of the city of Tulum. The exploration of the Sac Actun cave system started in 1987 from the Grand Cenote. Over the years, several connections have been explored and mapped by cave divers. In 2018, they discovered a connection with Dos Ojos, resulting in a 228-mile-long mapped passage. The connection of the Dos Ojos makes the Sac Actun cave system the longest cave in Mexico and the second longest in the world, behind the Mammoth cave. Over time, several roof collapses have created more than 220 cenotes in the Sac Actun cave system. The 2 teams were about to start their Sac Actun adventure to the Cenote Kalimba, which is about 1,500 feet northwest on the Coba Road from the Grand Cenote of Sistema Sac Actun. Cenote Kalimba is a shallow cave. Its average depth is about 33 feet. It has a moderate flow according to the standards of Mexico, and it flows southeast towards Grand Cenote. The 2 teams came to the diving site with 2 different vehicles. Team A was a 5-member team consisting of the guide and 4 other divers. Team B was a 4-member team. All were certified and experienced divers. They were prepared to enter and exit Cenote Kalimba according to their diving plan. They planned to follow the permanent guidelines starting from Cenote Kalimba to wherever it ends. A snap and gap line that's about 20 feet in length was already fixed within the cave. The line was there as a permanent line having a red aluminum carabiner that is fixed to one end and can be used to further connect other lines instead of a jump or gap reel. The snap and gap line is directly from the Kalimba line, and the red aluminum carabiner is fixed to the permanent guideline of Paso de Lagarto. 2 white alignment arrow markers that point to the exit of the attachment are also there. When you dive about 65 feet away from this snap and gap line, the permanent guideline makes a right-angle turn to the right. At this point, the permanent guideline has alignment arrow markers fixed on the downstream side of the right-angle turn. Its exit side points to the Grand Cenote, Cenote Hotul. They plan to make a short 6-foot jump from the right-angle turn with the help of a Delrin spool that has a neon pink guideline attached to the Cenote Box Chen guideline. According to their diving plan, they want the pink jump spool to be attached to the upstream of the Kalimba exit side at the right-angle turn, attaching the non-alignment marker to be used as a reference during exit and to ensure that other divers within the cave know that the snap and gap line is in use. The 2 teams had planned to exit together, removing the marker and leaving behind the snap and gap line as they met. 2 days before this dive adventure, the team of 4, Team B, had dove from Grand Cenote, moving from the jump spool to the Paso de Lagarto guideline. From there, they dove upstream along the Box Chen jump, and they exited after reaching the snap and gap line. They returned to the surface through the same route they entered. They had 3 non-alignment markers that were pointing them to the exit. The 3rd marker was fixed on the pink gap line for use by the 2 teams. Team A planned to dive for about 500 feet, following the guidelines at Box Chen, and then jump about 5 feet to the left with a spool that has a green line. They will follow this guideline till they reach Cenote Box Chen. They plan to come together for a brief discussion and return to the surface following the same exit to Cenote Kalimba. Team B, on the other hand, planned to go through the same guidelines using the non-alignment marker to mark the snap and gap line. Also, they had the Delrin spool with a neon pink line that has a non-alignment marker at the right angle turn. This marks the exit side that goes back to the snap and gap line. They didn't plan to go towards Cenote Box Chen at all. Team B commenced their dive at Cenote Kalimba, and within 32 minutes, they got to the snap and gap line, which is at the end of the Kalimba line. When they got to the snap and gap line, they made a left turn and continued diving for another 65 feet, following the pink gap line that was connected to the Box Chen line. One of the team members called for them to turn the dive and start returning to the surface. They neither made any jumps again, nor did they meet with the other team, Team A. They continued diving back to the spool using the neon pink line. When they reached the place where they were to make a 6-foot jump, one member of Team B removed a non-alignment marker on the pink gap line, leaving behind the non-alignment marker that was marking the exit where the spool is at Cenote Kalimba. While going out, they saw the non-alignment marker that showed the exit side at the right-angle turn at Cenote Kalimba. Though they saw this mark, they made the wrong decision, turning in the opposite direction. They were diving downstream on the line of Paso de Lagarto, instead of going towards the right, where they would dive for just 65 feet back to the snap and gap line. One member of the team, who went in with a digital camera to take photographs of the cave, started taking photographs. He spent about 25 minutes taking these photographs and went as far as 1,400 feet till he got to the end of the line. Team B was still going in the wrong direction, and they left behind 4 alignment arrows that were pointing downstream toward Cenote Hotul Grand Cenote while they dove. When they got to its end, the permanent line of Paso de Lagarto was disconnected from the permanent traverse line of Cenote Hotul Grand Cenote within a length of about 70 feet. The second team, Team B, got to the end of the Paso de Lagarto line before they discovered that they had made an error in their navigation. They were not going towards the Cenote Kalimba exit side as they were supposed to. One of them decided to start searching for the exit, and he set up a safety spool. The exit was indicated by the alignment arrow that was at the end of the permanent line of Paso de Lagarto. This also pointed towards the permanent guideline to Cenote Hotul Grand Cenote, which is 70 feet away. While the search was going on, the other 3 members of Team B remained on the Paso de Lagarto line. After searching for the exit to no avail, they all turned back, diving upstream along the Paso de Lagarto. The one with the camera still had his camera with him. All of them were about 300 feet away from the nearest cenote where they could get to safety. The pressure left in their double aluminum 80 tanks wasn't known. While they were navigating through the cave, they divided themselves into 2 pairs. The first pair of Team B divers fixed the camera on the permanent guideline when they were about 100 feet away from the right-angled turn at the Paso de Lagarto line. Team A had removed the non-alignment marker with the thought that Team B had exited the cave, since Team A had previously removed the 3rd non-alignment marker when they started diving. The 2 pairs continued diving upstream till they reached the intersection of the snap and gap at the end of the Kalimba line. Unfortunately, again, Team A had removed the first non-alignment marker, thinking that Team B was out of the cave. The distance between the first and second pairs of Team A was not known, but the first pair reported that they saw the lights of the second pair behind them. The first 2 members of Team B started sharing air while still on the Kalimba line, but they were able to get to the surface with about 500 psi remaining in one of their tanks. The first pair of Team B members survived the dive. The second pair of Team B also shared their air, but both of them couldn't make it to the surface at the Cenote Kalimba. They both drowned approximately 250 feet away from Cenote Kalimba, and their bodies were found in the distance. They had no air left in their double tanks. They were both found on the roof of the cave with no pressure left in their aluminum tanks. One of them had his primary light still on, while the other had his backup light on, but it was on the floor of the cave under him. Both of them were facing the Cenote Kalimba direction, positioned like they were sharing air. Immediately, the bodies of the last 2 Team B members were brought back to the surface. The police officers and investigators came for the bodies and their equipment, which were placed in their custody. Team B made a mistake in their navigation, going left instead of turning right when they got to an intersection that was caused by fixing a jump reel. It might not have occurred if they had fixed their reel and markers, and if they had referenced the intersection independently. They wouldn't have gone another way. If they had made the correct navigation when they jumped from the Box Chen line into the line of Paso de Lagarto, the Kalimba Snap and Gap line is not quite far from it. It's just about 65 feet. They went as far as 1,400 feet for about 25 minutes, going in another direction. In the passageway that they headed into, they passed 4 line arrows that they wouldn't have seen if they were in the correct direction. With all this, they never realized their mistake till they got to the end of the line. The 4 members of Team B displayed a great lack of sense of awareness. They were having a complex dive into a cave with different passages and exits. The use of a digital camera in such a situation can get them carried away. Having a good sense of awareness is essential to survival during cave diving. Either you take it seriously or you stay completely out of the water. While diving, keep your exit in mind and remain self-sufficient at all times. Continue referencing as if your life depends on it, because it does. We would like to thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed watching, take a dive on the like and subscribe buttons and hit the bell icon so you get notified when we come back with another exciting cave diving story.